Hi 8th grade, and welcome to Tuesday's lesson. This lesson is 7-3 day 2, so we're still multiplying powers with the same base. It starts on page 426, and we're going to be working on problem 3 today. So your got it check, and let me just write in got it check, is going to be on page 428, and we're going to be doing got it check number 3. And then your homework for this evening is going to be page 429, numbers 29 to 34, and your bell ringer plus 3 sentences today is page 431, problem number 86. Okay, we'll take a look at this later. All right, today we're going to be reviewing the concepts that we learned yesterday, and we're going to be applying them to scientific notation. So we know that scientific notation regularly works with exponents, and we are going to be doing a little bit of practice with multiplying two numbers in scientific notation. So when we're using scientific notation, okay, remember that scientific notation always looks like a times 10 to the nth power. And we said that our a must be in between 1 and 10. So it can be as low as 1, but it can't be 10. It's got to be less than 10. Okay? When we do scientific notation, we're going to do the exact same process that we did for multiplying powers with the same base. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply the coefficients for the scientific notation. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply our base 10 and the exponent. So we'll be adding the exponents for base 10. And last but not least, we need to check to make sure that our answer is still in scientific notation. So what I mean is, and I'm going to just use an abbreviation here for scientific notation, what it means is once we multiply, this coefficient might not be in between 1 and 10 anymore. So we might have to do a little juggling around in order to make sure that we get it so that it's in between 1 and 10. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at problem 3 in your book. And problem 3 is on page 428. Okay. So problem 3 asks us to multiply 3 times 10 to the 5th power. And it asks us to multiply that by 5 times 10 to the negative 12th. Okay. So let's do our steps. First up, we're going to multiply the coefficients. And again, I'm going to underline them when I'm done. So the coefficients are 3 and 5. So let's multiply those. 3 times 5 is 15. Next up, we're going to add the exponents. So I'm going to write my base in. And I'm multiplying 10 to the 5th times 10 to the negative 12th. So let's add those together. 5 plus negative 12 is negative 7. Okay, by my rules for adding positive and negative integers. Last but not least, I need to check to make sure this is in scientific notation. And it is not. What you can see is that this 15 is not in between 1 and 10, so I have a problem. So I need to make this 15 into a number between 1 and 10. Okay, so I'm going to do my decimal point move here. So I'm going to take my decimal place and I'm going to move it 1 time, okay, to turn it into scientific notation. So now I have 1.5 times 10 to the 1st power, right? Because I did 1 move, and 1.5 times 10 to the 1st power would give me 15. Okay, so I'm done there, but I still have to multiply by my 10 to the negative 7. And let's give it a check, okay? As I look at this, again, I can add the exponents. So 1 plus negative 7 would give me negative 6. So my final answer is 1.5 times 10 to the negative 6. Okay, there's a lot to do here, okay, but I know you guys can do it. All right? So next up, we're going to try the got it check. So we're doing the got it check number 3, and that is on page 428. It's asking us to multiply 7 times 10 to the 8th, and we're going to multiply 7 times 10 to the 8th by 4 times 10 to the 5th. Go ahead and pause, and then start the video again when you're ready to see the solution. Okay, let's take a look. So, as I look at this problem, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the coefficients. So 7 times 4 is 28. Next, I'm going to add the exponents. So 10 to the 8th and 10 to the 5th, 8 plus 5 is 13. So that would be times 10 to the 13th. But I've got a problem again, right? Because 28, not in between 1 and 10. So I have to do my decimal place move. So I'm going to move my decimal place 1 place. And this now becomes 2.8 times 10 to the 1st. And still multiplied by 10 to the 13th. So now I can finish this up. If I add these exponents together, I get 2.8 times 10 to the 1 plus 13 is 14. So my final answer is 2.8 times 10 to the 14th. Okay, that's it for Tuesday's lesson. So it's time to try your homework. So your homework is page 429, numbers 29 to 34. Make sure that your answers are all in correct scientific notation. And then your bell ringer plus 3 sentences is page 431, number 86. Bye everyone. See you tomorrow.